Neeru. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mahanka Swami. Next, we have a very interesting speech by one of our esteemed guests, Miss Piyusha Veer. Okay, let me introduce. Her topic for Keynote is How to Build Inclusive Workplaces Enabled by Technology. Inclusive workplaces acknowledge that diversity goes beyond traditional aspects such as gender, race, and ethnicity. It recognizes the multifaceted nature of human identities and experiences, including age, disability, sexual orientation, religion, and more. It aims to create work environments where individuals from all backgrounds and identities feel valued, respected, and included. As per Forbes Insight and research on global diversity and inclusion, 75% of Fortune 1000 companies have diversity initiatives, and 70% of them believe that they have been effective in recruiting diverse employees, but in reality, only 11% of them understand the actual concept. Diversity is not merely a buzzword. It encompasses a rich tapestry of perspectives, backgrounds, and experiences that fuel creativity, foster innovation, and propel success. By embracing diversity, we honor the uniqueness of individuals and unlock a world of untapped potential. It is with great pleasure and excitement that we welcome Ms. Piyusha Veer to this esteemed gathering today. Piyusha, a renowned thought leader, she is a writer, an artist, a CELTA certified English language trainer, and a creative writing coach, joins us as a distinguished speaker. Ready to share her invaluable insights and experiences, she works as the Client Solutions Manager with Vocallea Networks. She began her journey in 2015, and since then, her writings have been published on various platforms like Sheroz, LBB Delhi, Readomania, Momospresso, and Women's Web. Piyusha is an accomplished sales and marketing professional with a proven track record in client relationship management, project management, driving business growth. Her expertise ranges across diverse roles and industries from hotel management to writing to English language training to many more. She's the author of 3 books, Just Another Day, a captivating collection of thriller short stories. She's also the owner of a small business, Art by Piyusha Veer. With a passion for harnessing the power of technology to drive positive change, she's continuously pushed the boundaries, challenging conventional wisdom and paving the way for transformative solutions. Her contributions have left an indelible mark on the industry, making her a true pioneer in her field. May I please request Ms. Piyusha Veer to come on stage and share her view with us?
Thank you, Neeru and Career Changemakers, for this fantastic event today. We're talking about so many interesting topics, and I will be talking about a topic that's extremely special to me, DE&I, and inclusion. I've been hearing a lot about tech and a lot about HR as well, and while I was listening to the other speakers, I was wondering if there's anything left for me to speak, because I think all of you have covered almost everything that I'm going to talk about. But I'm really glad to be here on a Saturday afternoon with you all and talk about a topic that's extremely passionate and personal to me. And because it's so personal, I want to start with a personal experience. A few years ago, I was working in the hotel industry, and my office was in Gurgaon, and I stayed in East Delhi at that time. And I would have a 2-hour commute from Gurgaon to East Delhi, Patparganj to be more exact. And I would obviously try to leave at around 4:35-ish to be able to make the 2-hour commute and reach home around 7. As you can imagine, the response I would get was, it's just half day today. It's just half day yet. And why are you leaving so early? It's just 4:30, leaving? So I was constantly ridiculed and shamed for leaving so early. And the fact that a response like this would be discouraged and frowned upon is a testimony of how far we've really come. So I'm glad to be talking about this today. And it's a topic that has gained traction in the last 2-3 years, so it's still relatively new, but it's the need of the hour, I feel. And the fact that everybody's talking about, we were just talking about how DE&I has become the buzzword now. And tech, of course, is the topic of our conversation today. So I'm really glad to be talking about this. We've begun to encourage employees to leave on time, to have a healthy work-life balance, and the companies are also all focusing on inclusive work culture. So in our quest for a fair and equitable future, It's imperative that we embrace the power of technology as a catalyst for positive change and for inclusion as well. The fact that the traditional model is undergoing a seismic shift is undeniable. And one concept that has gained significant traction is flexible work. I'll just give you 1 second, please. Is it okay? So I'm just going to. Okay. Work we do. Then we have creative and customized solutions, which again I will talk about a little later. We have opportunities for women freelancers through events like Breaking Barriers, which is our initiative for entrepreneurs to gain access to networks, fellow business entrepreneurs, even funding, and which is all entirely through tech-enabled spaces like WhatsApp group, etc. In the last 1 year alone, we have led projects and marshaled the resources of 100+ women freelancers on various enterprise-led projects, thus bringing opportunities that are location agnostic. So all of this is through online communications, online connections, and online networking, etc. Orange Flower Awards are awards for digital creators, for writing, artists, social media, etc. Then we have Women in Corporate Alliances, which is the WICA Awards, which are for women in corporate organizations. Breaking Barriers is the one I spoke about. This is for women entrepreneurs. We connect women through purpose-led communities, tools, mentoring sessions, etc., and with opportunities within the industry and with enterprises. Talking about tech and inclusion, obviously there is nothing new about this conversation. The relationship with tech and inclusion and with women began way back. Obviously, we all know how our foremothers were stuck in the homes, and appliances like the mixer grinder opened up their time, enabling them to step outside the house and become a part of the paid workforce. Then, with further advancement of technology, we had more apps and appliances and electronic gadgets, which freed up their work time even more. And we are now witnessing a transformation in how and where we work. We have apps like Swiggy and Zomato, which is taking away women from the kitchen and helping them pursue other interests and hobbies as well. It's not just about cooking anymore, it's a lot of other things as well. Then apps like Urban Company and Yes Madam, which is more Noida specific, but we all know about Urban Company, is giving more opportunities to women in the paid workforce. So how tech has influenced all of us is very, very visible and very prominent. Looking ahead, we find ourselves at the cusp of revolution in the line of work. Technology is set to redefine how we approach our jobs and the very nature of work itself. With the advent of artificial intelligence and automation, the future of work promises to be more inclusive, efficient, and engaging. These are the ways in which we can see the tech and inclusion coming together to create the transformation that I'm talking about. We obviously have flexible working. By embracing flexible work arrangements, we can ensure that women are no longer confined to rigid schedules that restrict their ambitions and aspirations. Whether it be remote working, job sharing, or flexible hours, technology provides the infrastructure necessary to seamlessly collaborate and communicate without the burden of location. It also obviously allows for a comfortable working environment for our colleagues with visible and invisible disabilities, who we otherwise generally tend to forget because we don't see so much of that in our daily lives. So when we don't have that presence, we tend to forget about them. So flexible working arrangements can also be offered to people with invisible and visible disabilities and can help them further bring their best to their workforce. Then AI support. Obviously, this is something that you're all better experts than I am, and I don't need to talk about that in too much detail. We have machine learning, advanced analytics and algorithms, which can help us identify patterns and detect instances of bias or misconduct. You can use AI to drive inclusivity in hiring, screening. I think you're already doing all of that way before I can even talk about it. Then there's skills, aptitude tests, etc., that even Amit and Atish spoke about. One thing that I can add here is anonymous reporting systems and virtual platforms to provide safe spaces for employees to voice their concerns and seek resolutions, and provide them with a culture of transparency and accountability within the organizations. Then we have inclusion through tech support and systems like audiovisual aids, like screen readers, like your closed captioning, for example, that can allow them to participate in such online discussions. In fact, very little things like inclusive fonts, like Arial or Calibri in your online content, emails, etc., can be also inclusive. At Women's Web, we're also revamping our website to make it more accessible. Then I already spoke about audiovisual aids like screen readers. It will allow people with disabilities to participate in discussions. I also spoke about content, and I said that I will talk about that later. I want to mention here how we at Women's Web empower women and enable women's voices. We rely heavily on technology in doing so. We have various formats. For example, an article is repurposed as a podcast or a carousel for those who like the visual or the audio format. Similarly, a roundtable discussion or a podcast is presented in a written format for those who like reading. So these different formats allow easier consumption of such content and enable open and honest discussions with everyone invited to participate and express their views. In fact, in one of our events recently, we had sign language experts and interpreters, which I feel should become the standard for all offline and online events. This is a hint to career change makers. Maybe we can have sign language interpreters in the next event. We can also eliminate bias and misconduct, which is the fourth point here. By utilizing advanced analytics and algorithms, we can identify patterns and detect instances of bias or misconduct. How many of you have heard of Grammarly? Great. Yes. So Grammarly, if Grammarly can be trained to become a perfect editor and help us edit our content, then I'm sure we can have AI tools to detect instances of bias and misconduct as well. In fact, I had initially used ChatGPT to write my article. Obviously, I had to tweak it and personalize it a lot. But the very first line that ChatGPT wrote was, I just want to share that here. Pardon my ant-sized handwriting, but that says, ladies and gentlemen. Can anybody tell me what is wrong with that and why? I made a mistake. I didn't tell ChatGPT to replace that phrase, but I did it manually offline. But can anybody tell me what's wrong with that? It's not inclusive, yes. Organizations like Axis Bank, and I will talk about that again a little later, are actually introducing forms and documentations with the prefix MX instead of Mr. So we can have these instances where we're more inclusive. Organizations are completely doing away with the prefix Mrs. Talking about bias and misconduct. We recently conducted a study on psychological harassment of women at work, and those are the statistics that we came up with, which are extremely alarming personally. 38% of women experience mental harassment at work daily. On a daily basis, 38% of women experience mental and psychological harassment. I think that's an extremely alarming number, especially if you see the next number next to it, which is a measly 18% have access to safe online channels. That's almost half. One of the major factors that can help reduce this kind of abuse is a comfortable and safe working environment. How can tech be used as an enabler? I know the answers are there, but if you could just share some ideas from your own side. How can tech be used as an enabler? You've been using this word, you've been using this phrase. Any suggestions? Anyone? Okay. We must ensure that technology is used to create workspaces for all, and not just in the online space, but the offline space. You mentioned chatbots, you mentioned machine learning, you mentioned tools that can provide, remove biases and remove misconduct, etc. Gender-based discrimination and harassment unfortunately continue to be pervasive issues today, but technology can play a crucial role in eliminating them. It's an enabler not just women, but also with people with disabilities, like I spoke about earlier, and the queer community. Our research, and this is one of the works that we do officially, our research on the inclusion of LGBTQIA community that we did in 2021, and the inclusion of people with disabilities that we did in 2022, and conducted in collaboration with Randstad India, have proven how technology enables efficient working arrangements for everyone. These studies are available in the public domain for whoever wishes to access them. With the potential of technology to create inclusive workspaces being so incredibly vast, it's also essential to highlight the best practices that have emerged across industries. I'm just going to be talking about them a little briefly. Forward-thinking companies have already actively started working towards gender parity by implementing initiatives such as mentorship programs, unconscious bias training, and diverse hiring practices. Like Amit had mentioned, hire for will and hire for skill rather than educational qualifications. Technology serves as an enabler for all of these efforts. Additionally, organizations must prioritize the development and empowerment of women and other marginalized communities in technology-related roles as well. For example, you can encourage young girls to pursue STEM fields through initiatives such as sponsoring their education or providing devices that enable e-learning and have e-learning softwares and applications that can help you bridge the gender gap and foster innovation. Mentorship programs, scholarships, networking opportunities can provide a supportive ecosystem and help women succeed and thrive in technology-driven fields. This can go a long way in encouraging young women and girls to pursue technology-driven careers even later in life. Lifelong learning, reskilling, upskilling, as I think Vishnu was talking about upskilling and reskilling. I was sitting there and I was just thinking, I am a writer, I'm an artist, I'm an English language trainer, and I keep wondering, what is it that I'm doing? Why am I doing all these things? But I think now we understand that doing all these things, having all these skills, is just going to help you more in your career. So focus on lifelong learning and reskilling for your employees as well. Can help us lead to increased diversity and representation across sectors. Sorry. In fact, we're already seeing this in a lot of work that our clients are doing, and even the work that we are doing for our clients. There was somebody from Accenture here, I'm not sure, so you're already familiar with the Vahini platform. Do you know about Vahini? Yeah. So you want to just tell us one line about Vahini? Okay, sure. So Vahini is a website that is exclusively available for even Accenture and non-Accenture employees. It's a website that's extensively for relearning, mentorship programs, advice, career advice for women. And they have a lot of different content in different formats. So there's reels, there's short videos, there's articles, there's panel discussions that you can watch and learn from. Many of our clients have self-paced certification courses that are run by them, aimed at providing opportunities for learning and reskilling for women returning to work or even for women who are on a leadership track. Organizations like Dell, Accenture, and several others have been sharing knowledge through articles, reels, online webinars on various topics of tech awareness, careers in Meta Universe, we'll be talking about Meta as well, and cybersecurity, not just for their own employees, but also for the general public. I have been attending webinars by Dell, which are for everybody, for the general public. Then learning and reskilling opportunities like leadership track, return to work. Accenture has Career Reboot, My Career, My Choice by Wipro. So all these opportunities are already available, and I think learning from them, taking them and adopting those practices in your organization is something you can easily do. In fact, we also do a lot of in-house roundtables, and we have another roundtable coming up in July for women returning to work. So if you who are from HR and organizations that you want to start a program like that, or already have a program like that, and want support from us, then please do connect with me. Then the last thing that I can talk about is support groups and networking. We do discourage, I think in organizations, we do discourage employees talking to each other or too much wastage of time, especially near the water cooler chats. They're very famous, the water cooler chats. But I think, and this is something that we practice in our organization as well, at Women's Web. Something as simple as a WhatsApp group, which is just for non-related work or non-related chats. So we have people who are talking about their children, we have people talking about what they did during the day, what did they cook, pursuing their interests and hobbies, and that I think brings more connections within the team. It just brings better relationships, and it also helps us get more invested in each other's lives and careers. These are just random examples on the next slide of tech in diversity and inclusion. Speechify is an app that turns reading material into interactive audiobooks. So people who want to listen and learn better with listening can listen to audiobooks. Then Headspace is a meditation app. It has hundreds of guided meditations on various issues like anxiety, sleep deprivation, pain management. I have personally used the one for pain management and other apps as well, including the one for creative blocks. But the favorite one that I have is for pain management because it's really, really useful and impactful. OpenAI Fairness is an open source software toolkit that can help detect and remove bias in machine learning models. Project Include is a non-profit organization working towards providing meaningful diversity and inclusion solutions for tech companies. So while all of these are global initiatives, we have within India, we have Koo and Reverie. Koo is a microblogging platform based out of Bangalore, if I'm not mistaken, and it is, they have made it their mission to create an app accessible to the entire spectrum of Indian languages spoken in India. Then Reverie is also a language technology company providing text, voice, and video localization solutions. So it's not just about converting the logo of your social media platforms, the display picture in the month of June, and making it the pride flag. You have to obviously go far beyond that and make inclusion. It has to make business sense. It has to become one of your pillars and one of the core competencies. I wouldn't say competencies, but maybe one of the core focus areas within the organization itself. Because while having events during Pride Month is a good show of solidarity, it's not the end of it. It's just the beginning and the starting point. In conclusion, the path to an inclusive workplace enabled by technology requires intentional action, collaboration from all stakeholders, including your employees. Please invite your LGBTQI employees, please invite those from the marginalized communities, including people with disabilities, to come forward and help you in the policy making, help you make decisions, give them a seat on the table, especially women, obviously. The more diversity you have in the decision-making space, the more inclusive your organization will be from top to bottom. It has to make business sense, like I said. It's not charity that you're doing. It has to make business sense. It has to be profit-making as well. And that's the only way we can create an environment that values and supports the empowerment of all. I think a lot of organizations already have ESG mandates, especially the ones who are global MNCs. Embrace flexible work arrangements, harness the power of and the potential of emerging technologies, and implement best practices. These are the three ways that you can really take inclusion forward. That's about it. Together, let us seize this opportunity to shape a future where every individual, regardless of gender, has equal access to opportunity and can contribute their unique talents towards building a better world. Thank you for listening to me so patiently.
Piyusha's remarkable journey is an inspiration to us all. I stand before you to express my deepest gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Piyusha. Piyusha, your presence and insightful contributions have made this event truly exceptional, and we are immensely grateful for your time and expertise. Now, I would like to invite Ms. Amrita Singh on the stage and give a memento to Piyusha Veer as a token of her appreciation.